Someone made a mess of my account. Someone bought a paddock in a penny. Let's take the time out to talk about my dating life. First, intro. My name is Max Aaron James. If you are new here, hello. There's no continuous theme throughout the videos. Usually, of course, I'm just talking about what I'm going through in that moment. I mean, that's how vlogs work, right? Most of my dating life recently, or for the past 3 to 4 years, has been pretty much just downloading a bunch of dating apps, swiping, match, never mess with the person, continue swiping. Pretty much became just a hobby to do to pass time while I'm watching some show I don't really care about. I deleted all the apps. I stopped doing that stuff early this year, pretty much the beginning of 2021. It wasn't a resolution, unless subconsciously it was me trying to start the year anew. I just didn't want to really get into that anymore. It was a waste of my time, honestly. I realized that my love life will never evolve if I do not ever put effort into it. And if I do not actually put effort into going outside and actually talking to people. Living here in Okinawa, I kind of found myself feeling detached and lacking any connection with anyone, or lacking connection with even those I was connected to, kind of feeling alone. I had an issue or difficulty relating to anyone, especially people I worked with, finding any genuine connection with the people, whether I worked with them or whether they were in the local area. But I think I kind of set it up that way on purpose. I was already in the mindset of not wanting to get to know anyone, not really wanting to connect or get close to people prior to moving here. I wanted to just come here, finish off my last 3 years in military service, and start a whole new chapter in my life once I returned to the States. Found that to be pretty dumb about a year and a half in, because although I wanted to start a new life and I had already pretty much clocked out of this career, it's important to have someone to talk to and interact with. It's important to have those connections, to socialize with people, right? I was able to fortunately make a few good friendships. I ended up dating one person for about 10 months. That didn't work out. I think it was we kind of just stuck together because of lack of companionship with other people, wanting that connection, and it's easy to feel alone when you're stationed overseas. So that didn't really work out. Kind of just moved on. Didn't date all of 2021 or all of 2020 until about November. Went on a couple dates. They wanted a completely different lifestyle than what I was currently living or wanted to when I returned to the States. So that wasn't gonna fly. I decided for the rest of my time here, I was just gonna focus on myself. Max, focus on yourself, figure out what makes you happy, figure out what you want to do with your life, figure out if you want a relationship, what do you want to have in a healthy relationship when you go back to the States. Wasn't gonna do any dating, wasn't really gonna try to make too many more close friends, because I was just set on leaving and I already had a lot of things to occupy me while I prepared to set off. Vlogging being one of them, photography, music, etc., etc. One rule I had, or one of the few rules I had when it came to dating, is I did not want to do long distance. I was not interested in it. I believed it could work, and I still believe it is possible to have a good relationship from long distance. And distance is no longer at the same obstacle it once was because of the internet. It's allowed us to connect with almost anyone, and now you can find your soulmate on the other side of the world, which is nice. However, for me, I did not think it was right for me. I was not attracted to the idea of long distance relationship. I did not know whether I could actually put myself in one. I did not know anyone who was in one. And as my ignorance devolved a bit, I decided, well, I'm open to one. It couldn't be that hard, right? Chances are it could be that I was just lonely. So I have decided to devote my time and energy strictly to work, school, gym, writing, videos, and photography. Dating and finding someone, not even an afterthought. So I'm scrolling through the gram, right? or I get on it. Someone posted an IG story that I follow. Click it. Cool. I go to their profile, go back, comment on their IG story, move on. It's pretty much what I do. See something interesting on an IG story, comment on it, move on. I usually don't expect a response. I just usually just say, cool, nice. Then I just move on. However, what do I get? A message from her saying, hey, what's up? I respond with something along the lines of still breathing, something morbid. I mean, it's probably not as bad or as dark as maybe I think it is, but I know that some people might think my views on certain things are a bit off. We get into conversations about life, where we are both living, cracking a few jokes, talking about things that we're interested in. Both of us actually being invested in the conversation. Don't you love that when both people are just as invested in where the other person is invested in the conversation just as much as you are? And if you lack interest, of course the conversation just ends. But when you are actually into having a conversation and they are contributing just as much as you do, it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool conversation. It seemed genuine. It was dope. She knew what school I went to, and I could tell you I do not recall ever seeing her. So I felt kind of weird. I actually felt bad because obviously she went to the same school as myself and my sister. My sister and her were friends, and I did not know who she was. Let's fast forward about a week. We did our first date over the internet. My gosh, how far technology has come. Not something I could have seen myself doing like a month ago. I went into it not having too many expectations, just like with almost anything at the beginning, friendships, relationships, work. One thing that I learned is that time can potentially go slower if there's not much to talk about, or you feel like the other person may not be as interested or invested into the topic that you're discussing, or you run out of things to talk about. Because there were moments, I expected it to maybe last an hour or two tops. And and there were moments where a minute felt kind of like 5, but that happened maybe twice. Other than that, we ended up talking for a good 6 hours. Like the date went for 6 hours. It started off kind of nerve-wracking. We're both, this is our first date. It's over the internet. Neither of us have ever done an online like video chat date, and so it was new. We both acknowledged that. But then after that, as we started talking, it ended up going on much longer than we expected. Looking back at most of 2020, being isolated in my house for 4 days out of the week and not being able to go anywhere, not really talking with many people, I'm grateful that I did not develop the quarantine thirst. And I'm sure you can figure out what that is. The 2 women that I went on dates with back in November 2020, the reason it didn't work, one had a kid. I'm not ready to be a parent, at least not now, not ready to have kids. The other one wanted kids relatively soon. One was strongly religious. I'm not a religious person. The other wanted to get married and start a family. It was just, I'm not ready for these lifestyles. Also, certain views on certain things were kind of off. You were kind of off on certain views on society, and that's kind of a big thing for me. Also, they didn't like my music. If you don't like my music, we might have a problem. Like, the relationship is not gonna work out. Now this online date, I guess that's what we'll call it. I guess that's what it is. Was really good. It was nice. Chances are we're probably gonna go on another one, or I'll ask her on another one, but kind of not really rushing into it. I have a lot of plans going on. I have a lot to deal with right now, prepping to travel back across the other side of the world, start a whole new job, whole new career, move to a different state, and figure out what it is I'm going to do potentially for the rest of my life. Excuse me. Figure out what I'm going to do potentially for the rest of my life. I notice the type of women I'm attracting now is that's, you know what? I feel like this video is longer than I want it to be. Stay safe. Check up on one another. Take care of yourself. Until next time. One.